this myth that Hitler had given his people all that they now had left to back their pledge to him in return? My Fuhrer, the West Wall stands and will hold, come what may. The 58th volume of the United States Army's History of World War II is entitled The Siegfried Line Campaign by Charles B. MacDonald. It covers the fierce fighting along the German frontier near the city of Aachen in the fall and early winter of the year 1944. This volume was prepared by the Office of the Chief of Military History as a part of the most comprehensive historical program ever attempted by any nation. It will provide the American people with a full report of the U.S. Army's role in World War II and a permanent record of the accomplishments of the men who fought its battles. In his preface, the author says, "This period may eventually be regarded as one of the most instructive of the entire war in Europe. A company, a battalion, or regiment fighting alone and often unaided was more the rule than the exception. In nuclear war, or in so-called limited war in underdeveloped areas, of which we hear so much today, this may well be the form the fighting will assume. It has been said that those who ignore their history are condemned to repeat it. The story of the Siegfried Line campaign takes place in northern Germany. It is the story of savage combat by small units against a tenacious enemy, formidable defenses, inhospitable terrain, supply problems, and weather as hostile as any enemy threat. There was no mistaking that frontier. Like those legendary dragon's teeth that sprang from the earth as armed men, its anti-tank obstacles stretched in a ribbon of mute sentries uncoiled across the quiet countryside. Built in the late 30s, the myth of the Third Reich was built into those dragon's teeth, drawing the face of Germany in a grimace of defiant scorn for a world at peace. Now the years of war were passing elsewhere, and the neglected line, with its empty fortifications, was becoming part of a landscape where earth and myth merged into one, as that summer now merged into fall. And with fall, the Allied threat came at last, its armies sweeping the enemy before them across Europe like leaves are swept before a vengeful wind. But confidence, not vengeance, was what lit the faces in General Courtney Hodges' First Army. What was a myth to men who had landed at Normandy on D-Day, made the break from the beachhead, and liberated Paris? After moving at unprecedented speeds, all three corps of the First Army readied the thrust into Germany, assured that even the frontier would scarcely check the enemy's retreat before them. It was the 7th Corps, under General J. Lawton Collins, that would set the First Army's pace and make the main effort. In order to breach the Siegfried Line's fortifications before the Germans had a chance to man them, Collins mounted a reconnaissance in force the day after the first patrols had penetrated the frontier. To the north, with only their own tanks to cover them, they attacked across open field, where every step forward was a gamble, over roads alive with mines and villages alive with snipers. Fences and backyards were the only shelter, and too often, no shelter at all. Within 5 days, the 7th Corps had seized the high ground around Aachen. Pierced the forward band of the Siegfried Line along an 11-mile front and penetrated the heavier line of fortifications in 2 places. Now the closest enemy was delay. Every day, every hour of it, General Collins knew, must bring the Germans closer to their defenses.